Ta-da! Hi, and welcome to the Only Next channel, where we talk about games, art, comics, and on rare occasion, my travel vlog. I'm Allie, and a couple months ago, I began my journey into the world of Warhammer 40k with Kill Team Into the Dark. After 40 hours of painting and prepping, we dedicated 2 weekends to learn how to play Kill Team Into the Dark, and let me tell you, it was not as easy to learn as I thought it would be. We played 3 games, I had 1 full meltdown, and we watched hours of YouTube videos to figure out what the heck we were doing wrong. If you'd like to follow along on my Warhammer journey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. My kill team is the Farstalker Kinband, or as I like to call them, my Cute Kroot Kinband. For our first 3 games, we played Mission 1-1, Reinforced Chamber, and we put up major guardrails to help with cognitive load and learning. The first game we played didn't feel too terrible, but it was extremely long. I didn't know where we got it in our heads that each game was going to take 30 minutes. It was more like 3 hours.
Wait, you did worse than me.
Yeah, I missed on all of them.
We did 2 turning points out of 4 and applied a minimal rule set. That is, we played our character weapons, but we didn't apply any equipment or special abilities. I rolled extremely well in the first game,
That's really nice. Okay, so
but I did a horrible job of positioning my kill team strategically. For instance, I didn't spread out my Kroot based on the 3 swim lanes. I did 3 per door, so my middle lane had 6 guys and my outer lanes only had 3. Needless to say, I lost both outer lanes quickly, and by turning point 2, it was clear that John had won the game.
Don't kill me.
In Game 2, we played with the same guardrails as Game 1, but we tried to introduce Conceal Order. This is when I had a total meltdown after realizing I really didn't understand the game beyond rolling dice. The rules around Obscure and Conceal felt really confusing to me, and I got really frustrated with not understanding it. We took a detour and watched a few YouTube videos to help me understand better, but it was kind of like I hit a major wall after that. As we resumed playing, John took out one of my Kroot pups, and I started bawling that I was turning my Kroot Kinband into pacifists and no more pups needed to suffer.
Hello, doggy. Don't die, pup.
This meltdown lasted approximately 20 minutes, where I was incapable of moving forward in the game. After recovering, I did have a few good rolls, but ultimately lost to John 5 to 7 victory points after all 4 turning points. After Game 2, we watched more YouTube videos during the week to get more exposure to playing the game. We ended up watching a 3-hour playthrough by Penny Arcade, which felt more approachable to me even though it was really long. I was able to experience the joy that they had playing the game while also witnessing someone else learning the game from the ground up, kind of like me. Snuckface also loved watching the Warhammer tutorials, and she was pretty attentive for a good chunk of the 3 hours. Game 3 felt the tightest game for both of us. We still played without TAC Ops employees, so there wasn't a strategy round, but we did add in all the character abilities. John asked me if I wanted to add everything in this time,
we haven't tried this yet.
but I made a conscious choice for us that just adding in one thing would be much easier cognitively on me, and that I'd be able to focus on learning that one thing well and retaining it. This was good because Game 3 I didn't have any meltdowns, and it actually felt really digestible. And I also started to get a gist of who my characters were and the flow of the game. Also, we used the Katie Dash app, which helped a ton and was much better than the 2 of us passing back and forth the book. It also helped us plan a little ahead while the other person was performing a move. The only downside was that sometimes the picture didn't look like my Kroot character, so I got a bit confused. So I'm definitely considering printing out a version with pictures of my own guys so it's really clear who is who on my kill team. I ended up winning Game 3, which was a total surprise because John was annihilating my team by the end of turning point 2.
Look at all my casualties. All these guys John killed.
What really changed the tide was on turning point 4, I rolled for initiative and managed to kill a couple of his guys in melee fights first, despite me having mediocre rolls.
Okay. Very sad. I had
A really amazing roll.
After Game 3, I'm feeling much more positive about the game. In our first couple games, I was so caught up in trying to learn all the rules at once, it was like I forgot how to play turn-based strategy games, which are actually some of my favorite types of games to play, like Fire Emblem and Divinity Original Sin. During Game 3, the light bulb slowly started to turn on for me, and I started to really enjoy myself despite being behind for most of Game 3. I think for our next games, we're going to start to introduce the strategy round and try different missions and maps. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget you can subscribe to follow along the rest of my first journey into the Warhammer universe. If you're also new to the Warhammer universe, let me know what excites you about it and maybe what your first games were like. If you're a Warhammer 40k veteran, maybe share a story of your experience or even some advice or tactics on things to try. I'm excited to continue on into the rest of the Warhammer 40k universe, hopefully, of course, without any more meltdowns. Thank you so much for tuning in and see you next time.
Ta-dam!